So Elon Musk is cooked, done, or at least it looks like the beginning of the end for Elon. Let me explain. We see this Rolling Stone headline today. Elon Musk complains about paid protests on call about Tesla's poor earnings. And if you saw my video yesterday, I did go through that. I won't repeat it too much here today, but the earnings were terrible, and Elon was complaining. This line about paid protesters keeps going on, and it's plainly BS what he's saying there. The byline here is Musk fumed about anti-Tesla protests in an earnings call with investors after his car company's earnings plummeted, and they did plummet. Musk wants to leave politics because he's tired of attacks from the left, report says. This headline here. Speculation of Tesla's CEO possible departure comes as his influence in the administration appears to wane. So we've got these two things together. He's talking about leaving Doge, but on the call he didn't actually say that. He said he would be staying with Doge for 4 years for the whole term, but devoting more time to Tesla because people are worried, investors are worried that Tesla's going down the tubes. And so it's not what investors wanted to hear, but the stock shot up anyway. But we've got these two things, and it's not going well. This Doge protest, he says they're paid. Everybody, even investors, know that that's not true. So he's spinning this line as Tesla company profits plummet. And so if this continues, Tesla will be done, Elon will be done, and that's where the wealth comes from. So the protests are working. A lot of people watching this channel want the protests to be working, and it looks like they are, and it's really impacting Tesla, the company. So from Electric, this headline, Musk complains about handouts when Tesla was only profitable due to credits. So those credits coming from government money. So it's hypocrisy here. And this meme comes to mind where Elon's talking about the elites sitting on his private jet or even Air Force One while, taking government money. And he is the most elite. And people can see this. People are getting really sick of him. That's why I think this is the beginning of the end. He can't see what's going on. He's in denial. His company's going down the tubes. His reputation's going down the tubes. And we're going to have a lot more to look at about that today. Tesla stock surges on Elon's lies despite disastrous earnings, this headline from Electric says. It was like that. It was an unbelievable call. I listened to it. I put some of the recording where he's talking about the paid protesters. He said that first, right up front, and I think a lot of investors were like, what is he talking about? And one of the investors that I did showcase yesterday, talking about Tesla, who was very critical, has now sold the shares. Now, this is Jeremy, Financial Education. He's been on YouTube in particular for a long time. He was an early supporter, an early buyer of Tesla. In fact, he did well out of it. And he sold out today after the earnings, after having a think about it.
The rumors are true. I have sold and liquidated 100% of my Tesla shares here today. We have filed for divorce, and we have now achieved a divorce. I have sold it all.
Yes, and this too, from The Verge, Elon Musk's Robotaxi fantasy is starting to unravel. So all of these things is not going well. And this is what the future of Tesla is riding on, this robotaxis and robots, which is further away, although Elon on the call said it wasn't that far away, but robotaxis are the next thing. It's meant to be in the next couple of months they're starting to roll this out, but The Verge says the Tesla CEO has long promised driverless cars that can go anywhere, but now he's acknowledging that there will be parameters. So the rollout being in Austin first, he's talking about having, drivers actually in the cars supervising, so it's not unsupervised, and then moving to, tele-operated like Waymo does with some sort of operation. And Elon's saying that he's going to release it wide. Remember, years ago, he was saying that there'll be 1 million robotaxis on the road by 2020, and it's now 2025. He said in 2017, he said just in a few months, you'll be able to go to sleep, not touch the controls, and go from coast to coast in the US, from LA to New York without touching the wheel while asleep. And so that was years ago. So really, people are getting sick of his BS now. But the stock price did go up still. He's got this cult that just believes anything he says still, but it's definitely on shaky ground here. And Dan O'Dowd, who's been very critical of full self-driving or Tesla's attempts at it, he points out Tesla cultists are pulling out all the stops ahead of tomorrow's likely disastrous earnings report. So this was before the report, and it looks like Holmar's blog got his marching orders over the weekend. So he's one of the Elon-gelicals, the Tesla influencers, probably paid either directly or indirectly, because he just, tweets about Tesla and Elon all day, every day. So according to Omar, FSD 13.2.8 wasn't ready for unsupervised operation on Friday, but it's ready now. So just a few days, so he was obviously told to say it's ready. He said it wasn't ready, and then suddenly it's ready. So really upping the stakes there. And we're going to get into this video where Rachel Maddow has laid it all out, being very critical about the earnings and how Elon's going down the tube. Some surveys about Elon that are terrible. Elon likes to think that he's liked, but he is not. So this is the beginning of the end. His public perception's going down. Tesla profits are going down. The protests are working, and we'll see this in this video, which is titled Polling Debunks Musk Excuse That His Unpopularity, Collapse of Tesla is because of paid protesters. But before we get to that, if you're getting value out of this video so far, please remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. Thanks. Okay, let's get to what Rachel says, and I will respond to it along the way.
So I think the protests are really starting to bug them. I don't know if it's the number of protests or the number of people protesting or the fact that the protests really aren't going away and they keep seeming to grow. I don't know if it's the tenor and good humor and peaceful nature of the protest that's bugging them, but I think they are really getting bugged.
All of the above. The protests are working. They're really getting to Elon. He thinks they're being paid, but it's ridiculous.
It is really getting under their skin. And here's one way we can tell. Let's say you're the head of a big car company, and then something happens to your car company. And it's not happening to all car companies. It's not happening to the car sector, right? In fact, it's not happening to any other car company at all. It's only happening to your car company, and it's not good. Headline, CNN, Tesla profits plunge. Headline, Washington Post, Tesla earnings plunge. Headline, New York Times, Tesla's 71% drop in profit. Headline, USA Today, Tesla profits fall 71%. Headline, Wall Street Journal, Tesla profit sinks. Headline, Reuters, Tesla sales skid. I mean, headlines like that are bad enough, but you look at the details, it's even worse.
Yeah, the actual earnings were bad. And so it's amazing that the stock price actually went up. You have to wonder how long that's going to hold. An $800 billion company, and they barely made a profit, which Rachel's going to explain a little bit here about what happened. It was pretty bad. The protests are working.
The first quarter of last year, Tesla made $1.4 billion. The first quarter of this year, we learned today, you can drop the billion off of that. They went from $1.4 billion in the first quarter of last year to $0.4 billion this quarter. And even that was less than it appears. The profit they did have is not from selling cars. Quote, Tesla would have actually lost hundreds of millions of dollars this quarter had it not earned $400 million in interest on cash and investments, and had it not earned $595 million from selling credits to other car makers, which themselves failed to meet emissions regulations. They would have been $600 million in the negative for this quarter. They would have lost $600 million this quarter if they hadn't had cash and investments, interest payments, and credits that were paid to them from other car companies because of anti-climate change government programs. Just a catastrophe. And to add insult to injury, the CEO's favorite of all his vehicles, at least the one he really, really, really likes to talk about and show off as much as possible, that is turning out to itself be the biggest disaster of all.
Biggest disaster, biggest flop in the auto industry of all time, it's turning out to be, or at least one of them. I've done more than one video about that.
Cybertruck, Tesla's newest vehicle, which consumed a lot of the company's resources while it was being developed, is looking increasingly like a flop. Sales of the Cybertruck in the first quarter were down about 50% from the last quarter of last year. And they weren't all that good in the last quarter of last year.
So Elon wanted to sell 250,000 of these a year, and it's looking like around 25,000. You know, and with these protests, it's the iconic Tesla vehicle, so the protesters are kind of pointing at it, and it's putting people off. It's clear, even though Elon says that's not the case. It plainly is the case.
President's top campaign donor is bothered by your protests. He said today, unasked, on this disastrous earnings call about the cratering of his car company, the stock price of which, incidentally, is the basis for basically all his wealth. He said today on that call, volunteered, that these protests, they're all a hoax. But he also...
Yes, I played that yesterday. I'm not going to play that again today, but first up in that video yesterday, he did say that first up in the earnings call. In his opening remarks, he was going on about paid protesters, still spinning that line. Nobody believes it at this point.
To reassure investors that he is going to scale back his involvement in the Trump administration in coming weeks. And we shall see. But, if he thinks the protests against him in the streets are some kind of artificial trick, some kind of paid hoax, and people don't really dislike him, who's going to tell him about the polling? Because
there's those surveys. He must be seeing them. Probably thinks they're fake. They're a hoax from the left as well.
Separate and apart from the protests, the polling in many ways is even worse. This is also from today's CNBC poll. Do you have a positive or negative view of the U.S. auto industry as a whole? Positive, plus 14. Do you have a positive or negative view of General Motors, GM? Very positive, plus 23. Do you have a positive or negative view of Tesla? Negative, minus 20. Wait, GM is plus 23, Tesla is minus 20. Do you have a positive or negative view of Elon Musk? Negative, minus 20. And this is a nice crosstab for a man who likes to think he's big with the kids. Among young people age 18 to 34 in this CNBC poll, they say they are very positive on EVs, on electric vehicles in general. Generally, young people are positive plus 19 on electric vehicles, but on Tesla, they are minus 23.
So people like EVs, young people like EVs, just not Tesla. I mean, this is really some brand damage, brain damage, and brand damage we're seeing here, and it's showing up in Tesla numbers. This is why Elon is cooked. His big ego thought he could do anything. He's invincible, but really it is not working out for Elon these days.
All the people in that poll must be paid. They must be fraudsters who just love waste. Who's going to tell him? I think the protests are going to continue.
Yep, they are probably going to continue, and that's encouragement for the protesters. People in the comments here on this channel have been saying, yay, with the Tesla results, and you can see that it's working. The protests are working. You can see much to Elon Musk's denials about whether that's working or not. They're paid protesters, but I've done videos of, Trump and Elon protests, the DOGE protests, and they're just absolutely massive. There's no way they're being paid for. And the people in the comments, you can read them. If you're new here, go and read them. People are saying, well, why I'm not being paid to protest? I'm doing it for free. And then we have Elon here who's like, poor me. I'm just trying to do the right thing with the government. And then we have these posts, he did the fascist salute, but then, and he said, that was just an accident or whatever he put it down to, but he backs it up every day on X with these fascist politics, far-right politics. He supported the AfD party in Germany, and he constantly has these things where it is far-right politics and basically fascist politics, where he says here 100%, and it's somebody tweeting about him, a quote from him, the only way to restore rule of the people in America is to impeach judges activist judges must be removed from the bench or there is no justice. And this is such a twisting of democracy because that's exactly what authoritarian governments do, what fascist governments do. They say activist judges, they try and remove judges, they try and stack the courts in their favor. They like to have courts because they want to have show trials. But going this way, this is exactly the playbook of fascists and fascist politics. And if you don't believe me, this is a good book to read if you haven't. How Fascism Works by Jason Stanley. And there's one other one is On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder, probably more well known. But both of these people who have written about fascism, who've worked at universities, Ivy League universities in the US, are now moving to Canada. Timothy Snyder's already moved to Canada and Jason Stanley is as well. These people can see what's going down in the US and they're getting out. So they can see, they know from their studies, from their research, that this is looking bad and they know where it's going. And Elon is a big part of that. So this is why it's a good thing that it's looking like Elon is in trouble here. He's leaving Doge, but not really. He said he was, but he's not really. He said he's going to stay there until the end of the term. Now, what do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. Do you think it's the beginning of the end for Elon? It's not looking good. If Tesla is the source of most of his wealth, and it's not looking good for Tesla right now. If people keep up the pressure, keep protesting, it could get worse and worse, and he could get more and more desperate. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a video right there, a related video, and also on screen, a subscribe link. Do subscribe if you want to get more of this kind of content from me in the very near future. And thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.